of Oman is the guest of honor in its current session. His Highness toured the pavilions of the exhibition, which is witnessing wide participation from cultural institutions and local, Arab and international publishing houses, displaying their publications and valuable possessions of manuscripts and art pieces. His Highness also toured the pavilion of the Sultanate of Oman and got briefed on the various Omani publications that reflect the historical, cultural, and intellectual reality of the Sultanate of Oman, as well as the pavilion's collection of rare Omani manuscripts and art pieces. Further, His Highness reviewed the display screen broadcasting promotional and tourist films about the Sultanate of Oman, in addition to the Omani Council Corner, through which visitors learn about Omani customs and traditions. His Highness was also briefed on the Omani cultural program accompanying the exhibition, which includes a range of events and programs including seminars, poetry evenings, workshops, and dialogue sessions related to social, literary, and historical aspects such as novels, children's literature, architectural arts, artistic and musical performances, and folk arts. His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Saeed was accompanied during the visit by His Highness Sayyid Badr bin Abdullah bin Farhan Al Saud, Minister of Culture of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, also attended the Royal Oman Symphony Orchestra concert at the Red Hall Theatre in Princess Noura bint Abdul Rahman University in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Royal Oman Symphony Orchestra played a variety of musical pieces that formed a mixture of the cultural and artistic elements of Omani music. The ceremony was attended by a number of Their Highnesses, the Princes, Their Highnesses and Their Excellencies, the Ministers and senior officials at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The concert coincided with the Sultanate of Oman's participation as a guest of honor in the Riyadh International Book Fair. The Sultanate of Oman is following with interest and concern the ongoing escalation between the Palestinian and Israeli sides, which resulted from the continued illegal Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories and the ongoing Israeli attacks against Palestinian cities and villages, which portend serious repercussions and an escalation in the intensity of violence. In a statement issued by the Foreign Ministry today, the Sultanate of Oman called on both parties to exercise the utmost level of restraint while emphasizing on the necessity of protecting civilians. The Sultanate of Oman called on the international community to intervene immediately to stop the ongoing escalation and to resort to the rules of the international law. The Sultanate of Oman renewed its emphasis on the strategic necessity of finding a just, comprehensive and lasting solution to the Palestinian cause on the basis of the two-state solution and the rights of the Palestinian people by establishing their independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital. At least 40 people have been killed in today's large-scale attacks on Israel. Earlier, the emergency services reported that at least 22 people had been killed by gunfire. One woman died in a direct hit in a building near the town of Gedara. The Hamas movement fired 2,200 rockets into Israel from the Gaza Strip today in what it described as a military operation. Media reported that numerous Palestinian fighters also managed to cross the heavily protected border with Israel. Israel has responded by declaring a state of war. Dozens of Israeli fighter jets have targeted military installations in the Gaza Strip, killing at least 22 people, according to a source at the Health Ministry. More than 160 Palestinians were martyred and hundreds injured in continuous Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip, hours after Hamas launched an unprecedented attack against Israel. Palestinian medical sources said the emergency headquarters in the Shifa complex in the Gaza Strip is constantly receiving critical injuries, pointing out that the death toll is likely to rise sharply. Russia claimed yesterday that its forces defeated Ukraine's drone attacks, while Ukraine said its armed forces continued offensive operations, according to official briefings from the two countries. The Russian Defense Ministry said that in the past week, the Russian army repelled the attacks of the Ukrainian army in many directions, attacked Ukrainian military personnel, and destroyed Ukrainian tanks, armored vehicles, various types of artillery, workshops for assembling drones, ammunition depot, and explosive materials needed for ammunition production. On the same day, the armed forces of Ukraine claimed that over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces continued their offensive operations in the direction of Melitopol and Bakhmut. The armed forces of Ukraine said they also attacked Russian fuel depots, communication centers, air defense systems, and radar stations. Russian Defense Chief Sergei Shoigu visited today a military plant producing heavy intercontinental ballistic missiles in the Krasnoyarsk region, according to footage released by the Russian Defense Ministry. Shoigu visited the Kramash plant, which launched the large-scale production of Sarmat missiles. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced earlier this week that Russia had effectively completed the development of the Burevestnik cruise missile and the Sarmat heavy intercontinental ballistic missile, and work on putting them into production. The Sarmat is one of several advanced weapons whose development Putin announced in 2018. The Sarmat reportedly has a short initial launch phase, allowing little time for surveillance systems to track it. Today, rescuers set off to search for almost 150 people still missing after a glacial lake burst its banks and triggered flash floods in the Indian Himalayas this week. At least 42 people were killed in one of the worst disasters in the region in more than 50 years. The Lonak Lake in the mountainous northeastern state of Sikkim overflowed on Wednesday after a cloudburst triggered torrential rains and an apparent avalanche, causing major flooding in the Teesta River. This was the latest in a series of extreme weather events that have caused widespread damage in South Asia's Himalayas, blamed by scientists on climate change. Two 6.3 magnitude earthquakes have killed at least 15 and injured nearly 40 others in Herat province in Afghanistan, according to a spokesperson for the country's National Disaster Authority. The United States Geological Survey reported that epicenter was 40 kilometers northwest of the city of Herat and was followed by an aftershock with a 5.5 magnitude. The telephone connections were down, causing difficulties in obtaining precise details from the impacted areas. A light plane crashed in a rural area of Australia's New South Wales state yesterday, killing the male pilot and 3 children who were on board. The Cirrus SR-22 took off from Canberra and crashed about 3 p.m. local time. Emergency services responded to reports that a plane had crashed and was in flames, with firefighters extinguishing the blaze, but there were no survivors. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau said they had begun an investigation into the crash. As part of the efforts to diversify its sustainable investment, Oman Investment Authority announced its investment in the American company Electric Hydrogen, which specializes in developing and manufacturing electrolyzers using proton exchange membrane technology that is implemented in the production of green hydrogen. These electrolyzers work with operating capacity of up to 100 megawatts, as each of them can produce up to 50 tons of green hydrogen per day at a low cost. Oman Investment Authority seeks to achieve leadership in the global transition to clean energy and to play a pivotal role in the value chain associated with hydrogen. The British Omani Society held its annual ceremony with the presence of a number of diplomatic personalities, businessmen, and society members. It exerts a number of efforts to enhance the historical relations between both countries, achieve more progress in various fields that serve the interest of the Sultanate of Oman and the United Kingdom. His Excellency Sheikh Khalifa bin Ali Al Harthi, Under Secretary of Foreign Ministry for Diplomatic Affairs, stressed on the deep-rooted relations between both countries, in addition to ways of enhancing them in the commercial and economic fields. The Governorate of Musandam received the initial international trips for group transports of bus passengers between the Governorate and Ras Al Khaimah. The service comes within the framework of deep-rooted brotherly relations between the Sultanate of Oman and the United Arab Emirates, as well as to enhance the field of public transport. The step will also play a great role to improve the tourism aspect between the Governorate and Ras Al Khaimah. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Highness Sayyid Yazid bin Haytham Al Saeed visits Riyadh International Book Fair 2023 and attends the concert of the Royal Omani Symphony Orchestra. The Sultanate of Oman calls on the Palestinian and Israeli sides for immediate de-escalation and emphasizes on the strategic necessity of finding a just, comprehensive and lasting solution to the Palestinian cause. And Israel responds by declaring a state of war after the large-scale attacks by Hamas movement. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night, and we hope you have had a great weekend.